All right, guys, we are back again with another COVID cabal. It's good to see you guys again. So much happening these last few days. Happened right as I was going on vacation. Um, and I'm sorry, guys, I had to take the vacation. I thought about commenting. I'm like, you know what? I'll wait and see what happens. Let's just let things settle a little bit. It's too much to try to set things up here. I got to enjoy the beautiful Mediterranean weather. I was in Positano, 10-year anniversary with my wife. Also, kind of a birthday celebration too, since I went out there on my birthday. So very amazing time. But yeah, all this crazy stuff going on with Musk and Trump. And then as I'm coming back from the trip, you have the LA riots break out. So big things happening. We got a lot to cover today. If you guys are watching right now, drop a comment in the chat. Drop a comment in the chat. And we're gonna be covering all this stuff. Already got a question in here. Pat, how much longer do you think they can get away with poking the bear? Gavin literally said, Trump, come arrest me. We're going to talk about this, better offers. We're going to talk about this. We are going to talk about this. Bosch. Hey, I'm hearing that there's now some talk about this guy, this guy Skinner, actually running for mayor of London. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure in London that there's a political solution. I'm not sure in London anymore. But we got a lot to cover here. Let's backtrack though. We got to cover the Trump Elon thing. We have to cover this first before we get into the riots. I know the riots are the crux of things. We'll have just a little bit at the end. Talking about the Russia-Ukraine war. But obviously, the riots and the implications of that are the crux of this. But we got to cover the Elon Trump stuff first. So, first off, obviously, we have, or at least we had, I'm not sure where people stand now, two big, let's say, schools of thought on the Elon Musk thing. Or maybe you could say three. So you have the people who are taking it really seriously, like, fuck, like Trump and Elon, they're not working together anymore. It's so over. Fuck, like Trump's terrible. Trump doesn't appreciate Elon. Trump needs to just do everything Elon says, or it's, Elon sucks, fuck Elon. We don't care about him anymore. He's a terrible person. It's all about Trump, right? You have people who are like taking sides in the fight and think the fight's real and think it's irreconcilable. And then you have the people who are like 5D chess. It's 5D chess move here. Trump and Elon are actually working together. It's all part of the plan. This is all a plan to do something, right? This is my problem with this school of thought. We're going to talk about it in a second. And the other school of thought is somewhere in the middle, right? Like, it's real, it's a disagreement. Let's not make a big deal out of it, though, even though Elon is going a little bit too far. I am in the third camp here. I'm going to explain all this stuff to you guys. But first, let me talk about why I do not think they're working together, because I know a lot of guys, especially in like the Q conspiracy group, think this is all just a plan. And those of you who are OGs watching this stuff, even a psychic who I respect, Magenta, even said similar kind of thing. There's people who have been saying that Trump and Elon were working together in this, and it was all a pantomime. But here's my problem with this pantomime idea. Okay, I'm not opposed to the existence of this stuff. It certainly is not beneath Trump to engage in some sort of theater. First off, nobody has actually explained clearly what the purpose of the pantomime would be. Now, I can make an oblique argument for it. Here's the oblique argument. It would be that Trump knew that there was going to be opposition from various members in Congress And so by having Elon go against Trump, those people will then naturally gravitate towards Elon. They're going to be looking for cover because they have to oppose Trump's bill because of their handlers, people like Rand and Massey, who we're going to get into in a second. So in order to so Elon basically goes out against Trump's bill too. So they're like, yes, now we got like big guns in our corner. We got Elon in our corner. So then they basically align themselves with Elon. And then after a spat between Trump and Elon, Trump gives Elon some, token change to the bill. And Elon's satisfied with it. And then those other Republicans are outmaneuvered because they basically gave Elon the negotiating control for their faction. And then Elon negotiated it with Trump. So it's kind of a political trap to outmaneuver him. That is my way of trying to explain how this could be a plan. Now, the problem with it is it's pretty convoluted. I don't really see how this is. First off, I don't see it. It hasn't happened yet. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it hasn't happened yet. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if Elon had just supported it from the beginning anyway, you basically would have had the same kind of situation. Elon would have been able to threaten those people, right? They would have been outmaneuvered and isolated anyway if Elon had been against them from the beginning. I don't like, and I've been looking. Trust me, I've been looking for people to explain how it's just a pageant and why it's 5D chess. If it's 5D chess, you have to be able to explain a clear motivation for taking a course of action, because there's no other route that would achieve that course of action. Nobody's even explained it. They just say they're working together. It's an act. I think people want to believe that because they want to believe that there is this super, super tight linked up plan between Trump and Elon, and that Trump and Elon are totally on the same page with everything all the time. Now, look, I am not saying that I'm 100% right about this. I'm totally open to being wrong. You guys who have known my show for a long time, okay, and you know that I'm very open. I'm very open to deeper plan stuff. But this spat can be explained in so much more simple ways. So there's two elements going on here. I talked about one of these already on Twitter. Elon is admired for his brains, but he craves validation too much to be king. It's the same reason that he keeps ending up with insane BPD girls who take advantage of him. This has happened over and over again with embarrassing spectacles. Yet when have you ever seen any woman humiliate Trump? You've never seen this, and you have never seen a crowd humiliate him either, because as Bat famously said, the crowd is a woman, and like he understands women, Trump understands the crowd. And the most important thing he understands about the crowd is that he is its superior. Elon wants to be loved by the crowd. He shows off to it, and when insulted by it, retaliates. Trump has never done this. He shrugs off insults and tension because he knows the crowd is full of lesser, weaker people. He does not want their approval. He wants to command them. The result is that the crowd trusts Trump and elevates him above them. And Trump, in turn, with true noblesse oblige, sees himself as benefactor to these common people and fights for them. Elon is a great man, but he is not a leader like Trump because he lowers himself with his pity parties about the appreciation of the masses. He is a Commodus, not a Marcus Aurelius. I meant to say Maximus when I was writing this. But anyway, he has incredible talents and capabilities, but he should remember this. It's his great weakness. And the comment I made before is relevant. I said, Elon did this before with H1B. He's a tech genius, but doesn't understand people. Trump's genius is business, but the main reason is because he understands psychology. He has an instinct for tension control. I don't know how serious the spat is, but it will end with Elon backtracking. Okay? So this first thing here is that this is not the first time it's happened. I want to make something clear to people here. I'm not trying to be patronizing, by the way, but I'm going to put my opinion out here. The Republican Party is two main factions right now. It's two factions. You have MAGA. MAGA has been in this from the very beginning, 2015, 2016, in the trenches with really no institutional support, populist movement, patriots, fighting to take back the country, fighting to take back control, basically, and to preserve our identity as an American country. Late to the game, last 2 to 3 years, has been the migration of people from what they call the tech right, who have started to pivot towards Trump, or at least have been, let's say, it started with them being a little bit unnerved by the radical left. Um, I track it back to, let's say, late 2022, because I think when Elon purchased X, that's when it really started. Because prior to that, remember, in the 2020 election, most of the tech people supported Biden and actually helped to steal the election from Trump. Mark Zuckerberg being, of course, prime, candidate for this. Musk buys Twitter, ostensibly being very neutral. Biden administration goes after them. Biden administration oversteps, and the tech group, tech right, whatever, they decide, hey, the left's really crazy, and how are we supposed to do anything because they want to regulate and control everything, and they're communists. So gradually, being, centrists, they start moving and working more with MAGA. Then they almost killed Trump. Trump looks like a hero. The energy is clearly with MAGA. So the tech right joins with us. And we have this kind of shared vision of, broadly, of purging the leftist corruption from the country, regaining control of the country, and building a future together using, technology. So it's kind of like the dream of people in our sort of side of the community, which is preserving culture and tradition, but with a view towards the future and technological advancement. So it's like there's a combination here. If you followed the circles in, grassroots right wing Twitter, it's been really about returning these kind of like ancient ideals, the ideals that made Western civilization so great, but without a sort of God, what's the word I'm looking for? Anachronistic kind of way of looking at things, with a very forward-looking, futuristic way of looking at things. So when Musk talks about going to the stars, it's very inspirational for this grassroots right, MAGA right? So there's a natural kind of combination here. The problem, though, is that there's not full agreement, because the tech right doesn't understand people. They don't understand people. To a certain extent, they don't even really care about people. What they care about is efficiency. They care about technological growth, and they have a natural inclination to view people as kind of interchangeable, um, you know, numbers on a screen. They had a problem with the left because the left was clearly bringing in, I don't want to say that they viewed everybody as interchangeable numbers, but they view people in a very, very meritocratic fashion. So it doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter how you come in. They just want maximum efficiency, even if it comes at cost to cohesion. Which, by the way, if you're actually thinking in a more expansive manner, damages efficiency, because when you have lower trust societies, you have less efficiency. Okay, this is one of the things that the tech right doesn't get, hasn't gotten ever, may not ever get. But bottom line is that the tech right does not grasp the concept that you cannot view human beings from different groups as interchangeable parts. You can't do them. You can't do that. You can't have that kind of thing, and you can't have a functioning society. You can't have a society that's worth living in. Becomes very sterile. Becomes like San Jose, California, very sterile place. Okay, so there's always been tension with these groups, and you first saw the tension between the groups back with the H-1B spat, Christmas last year, because the tech right thought, yeah, we're obviously now, since we're making America great again, we're going to bring in everybody from across the world. We're going to expand H-1B. And MAGA's like, what the fuck are you talking about? First off, the system's corrupt. H-1B system is corrupt. And second off, the big problem is that you've had Americans who are being disenfranchised in this process. So we don't want this. We didn't vote for this. We don't only want to get rid of illegal immigration. We want to limit immigration substantially too. If someone's really impressive, they're going to come in on an O1 visa. There is some opening that maybe H-1B can be very, very much reformed and scaled back, because the difference, of course, with an O1 is that that person has already been established in the field, versus are you theoretically taking up and coming talent. But the point is that the tech right wanted expanded H-1B program. They wanted less Guatemalan housekeepers, and they wanted more Indian coders, basically. That's just being blunt about it. And the problem, of course, is that a lot of the people who are coming in these programs, they're coming in a nepotistic manner, and they're coming in also without real credentials. A lot of these, what's learned is that a lot of these credentials are totally fake. They're coming in on lower salaries. So, the point is that there's been divides for a while, and Elon was like spazzed out about all this stuff. He totally spazzed out on the issue. Now, we gave him a lot of grace with it. We kind of let Vivek Ramaswamy fall on the sword with this whole thing. And, I don't know whether people actually believed it or not, but they kind of tried to pretend to themselves that someone else was running Elon's Twitter account. I don't know if that was actually true. I don't think it was true. But Elon himself is an immigrant. Elon himself is a transnational globalist in some sense. It doesn't mean I don't like Elon. It doesn't mean I don't like him. It doesn't mean I don't respect his opinion on things. But the bottom line is Elon and the people he represents and the way that he thinks is different than MAGA. It's different than MAGA. He is an ally of MAGA. We both have the same enemy. We both understand the existential threat of the enemy. But they are not the same group as us. Now, Cernovich has done a great job talking about this. He frames it in terms of, you either get MAGA or Luigi, reminding the tech right that, hey, guess what? You may not like everything that we're about. You can choose us or Luigi. And this is the thing, like a lot of people like Adam Townsend, smart guy, thinking that Elon's jumping to the left. I don't see that happening at all. I don't see that happening at all. I don't. Trump and Elon will continue to work together. The bromance might be over, remains to be seen. I believe that in spite of all the stuff that Elon was saying, even including referencing Epstein, whatever, look, I'm going to show you guys another tweet. I thought did a really good job of explaining some of the differences between Trump and Elon. They don't understand each other. Elon is too guileless. He says exactly what he thinks is true with little regard for how others will react. He alienates allies by airing disputes in public instead of settling them behind closed doors. Because he is a Spurg engineer who leads companies of Spurg engineers, to do this, you must be 100% truthful and transparent. Donald Trump is too guileful. He says exactly what will advance his plans with little regard for telling people what he actually thinks. He alienates allies by expecting their unconditional support without sharing any aspect of his strategic plans with them. Because he is a New York real estate developer who thrives on winning negotiations and gain advantage from unshared knowledge, and to do this, you must be 100% calculating and opaque. Here's what happened. Musk worked super hard and took great personal risks to get a head start on balancing the federal budget. He correctly believes that federal spending is an existential risk to the nation. Trump regards those savings as a political asset. And since he lacks leverage in Congress, he took them and traded them for other things he wanted, apparently dealing with border control, the courts, etc., problems which he correctly believes are an existential threat to the nation. He may have concrete plans for balancing the federal budget in the future, but frustratingly, he won't tell his own team what they are. Now, there was more to this. I only have a few. I only put 10 slides on this StreamYard, so I have to choose diligently. The rest of it I didn't. He had more comments. It was good. You can read it if you want on this guy's timeline. But the point of all this, right, is Elon really did work hard. Elon is a guy who runs like 3 companies, okay? Big companies. He runs one of the biggest social media platforms. He runs the basically the biggest space company in the world. He runs the biggest electric car company in the world. And then there's like other little things too involved with solar and whatever. I mean, he's got 3 major companies and a few smaller ones. And he came to DC, took the cream of his crop, coders, went in, started cutting through USAID, started finding out where the efficiencies are, put it all up there, and he found out, like a lot of us did years ago, that Washington is totally corrupt, and a lot of these things that you want to get passed through can't get passed through. Just can't happen. I think Elon's reaction, especially if Trump did not do a good job of communicating the rationale for why this stuff had to be deprioritized after all the work and risks he took, given Elon's personality and need for validation, he's inevitably going to respond this way. And this is why when people say it's all planned, they're working together, I don't, this is a much more plausible explanation to me. You have the richest man in the world who put a lot of effort into something and, you know, staked his reputation and his future aligning with Trump, getting his dealerships firebombed, and all this work he does, Trump says, "Look, I know these cuts are important. We agree with you, but we're not going to do anything about them right now because we got to get this bill passed on border security." This is not why Elon joined Trump. I do think so. This is a good question here. Do you think it was poor judgment on Trump's end to not be able to calculate Elon's reaction? I don't know everything that's gone on behind closed doors, but I think to some extent it was. It's also possible, though, that Trump did explain some of this stuff to Elon, and Elon decided to go forward anyway. Here's another great comment, right? Elon miscalculated his popularity among MAGA. It's exactly right. This is what I want to say. There's no question that Elon buying X and creating a platform that is mostly free speech, right? That's mostly free speech. There is no question that that helped tremendously with the election. I don't know if it's why Trump won the election. I don't know if we can go quite that far. But I say I don't know because the reason we won the election is because it was too big to rig. We won 2020 election without Elon. Would we have been able to do it in 2024 without him? Or would the censorship system be too much? Maybe we would have won organically, but not with the various fraud and everything that they would have been able to commit. Maybe that fraud was impossible to commit because of Twitter being under Elon. Point is that I am not an ungrateful person. I'm very grateful for Elon. And even as the same thing with the H-1B spat, I would forgive Elon in a second. I don't care that he spurred out on Trump. I don't even think Trump really cares that much. Because as John said right here, Elon miscalculated his popularity among MAGA. Elon Musk is not a man of the people. He wants to be a man of the people. This is what I was saying in my post when I said that Elon is like a commodus, right? He's trying to, whether it was Dogecoin back in the day, he loves making his little comments and having people like it. He's like the biggest dopamine social media addict. You notice he's the only social media founder who's really engaged on the platform as much. I mean, unless you count Truth Social, which is, and I'm not saying this to trash Elon because we all have our personalities. We all have, our pros and cons, right? Trump certainly has his cons, not a perfect man, but Trump is a master leader and warrior among the common people. He knows how to resonate with the common people. He really exudes king energy. There's only one other person in the world who exudes that same kind of king energy, and that is Vladimir Putin in Russia. And one of the things you notice is that in Russian politics, you do not ever see people attack Putin. It's a mistake to attack Putin in Russian politics. The whole spat with Prigozhin, he was Prigozhin against Gerasimov, against Shoigu, right? You had the court arguing against each other, but never touching the czar. I've read lots of, I'm very schooled in history, especially European Romantic era history. Within the court, you do not attack the king. The nobles will regularly attack each other as they jostle for power, but you never attack the king. If you attack the king, it's over for you, because it's not about the king even so much as a person. The king is a representation of something. Trump is a representation of something that I would argue this country has not really had since Washington. Maybe Lincoln, but I really think Washington was the last individual who really has been, because Lincoln was even besieged by his own side. You know, the radical Republicans who really wanted the war were much like Lincoln was almost pulled between everything. And I think he's appreciated much more in hindsight for what he did. FDR, FDR may have had that same kind of energy, to be honest. He may have been more like a king. But whatever, whether you want to say he's the second or he's the fourth, or it doesn't matter. Point is that Trump has a king energy. It's very rare, very uncommon. And he is the most powerful man in the world. Elon is impressive, number 2 most impressive person in the world. But Trump has changed the course of history. And people who say I'd bank on Elon any day. Do you know what Trump could do? Elon could start to censor Trump supporters, whatever. He could do all this stuff. All Trump would have to do is tell people to mobilize and attack Elon. Like if Trump really wanted to, if he really wanted to get into like real power games, Trump has the deep loyalty to the point easily of violence of 20 million people in this country. 30 million people. There is a sizable number of people in this country who will go to war for Trump. Elon cannot command any of that. Zero of that. Okay? So it's not even, Elon definitely miscalculated his popularity. We like Elon. We like him on the team. We don't want beef with Elon. We got a big enemy to fight here. Elon needs to understand his position. He is not a rival to Trump. And if he cannot understand that he can't accept that, it's going to be his undoing, because the left is never going to accept him. He only has a home in the right. But he only has a home in the right if he understands who the king is. After Trump's gone, who knows what happens. But right now, if I can rank people who are really resonating with the MAGA base, who have a good future, JD Vance obviously has been doing a great job being a subordinate for Trump. And obviously Stephen Miller is telling everybody what the Trump base wants. You know, we've had some issues with RFK. We like him in Health and Human Services for the most part. We love Elon Musk. We liked him in Doge. We like his opinion. We like his support. So I think this is a genuine spat. That's my opinion on things. I think this is a genuine spat, but I also think, and as SW says right here, Elon has poor emotional control. I think he does, and he's deleted most of these tweets. We have bigger problems than to be bickering with Elon. I agree. I don't think it's a big deal. People are freaking out about it. I don't think it's a big deal. Trump de-escalated it. He said, I'm not thinking about Elon. I have too many other things going on. I wish him well. Elon was reacting emotionally, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if Barron doesn't have king energy, but he could, depending on how this dynasty stuff works. I mean, he certainly has an aura to him. I don't think it's established as king yet, but he certainly feels more like a crown prince of sorts. I think we just have to see more about Barron over time. He's really much more like Dune. I'm gonna the Kwisatz. I don't even know how you fucking say it, but he's much more like Timothy Chalamet energy. Elon sleeps 2 to 4 hours a night. So does Trump. It's well known. They both sleep like 4 hours a night. So anyway, that's the Elon Trump spat. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think we need to dedicate any more time to it. Probably already spent too much time talking about it. There is one last thing, though, I do have to mention with it, and that is this stuff on Massey and Rand. I don't know if this was part of the plan or not, but as Sterno said, slow rolling when someone who has no intent to follow through keeps asking questions and bringing up principles. As soon as you respond to their concerns, they raise new one. This is what Massey and Rand have been doing for years. Too obvious now. Well, look, I will say absolutely here that Massey and Rand have outed themselves as clowns. I think that some people were getting upset, at Trump because Trump was going against Massey. I wasn't. I wasn't getting upset at Trump because I trust Trump more than I trust some fucking random congressman from Kentucky. If Trump has something he needs to be done, I trust it because Trump is all in. When someone's all in, even if you wish they told you more information, as that other guy said, Trump is very guileful. You can't read everything he's doing. But you have to trust in Trump. You have to trust in that he knows where things are going. He has a plan. And, I'm not saying he gets everything right, but I'm not saying that if you could talk to Trump and you could tell him what you think, that, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you can't do this stuff, but if Trump needed certain things done, it's for a bigger picture reason, even if on the surface it doesn't seem great. But I'll tell you, I haven't trusted Rand for a long time, ever since he certified the 2020 election. Big, super conservative, certify the 2020 election. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I learned a lot about people from who certified that election. They didn't need his vote. They didn't need his vote to certify that election. He's a sellout. I don't give a shit if you like the things he says about money. As everyone's pointing out, he voted for all these bills during Biden. All these senators. Oh, we don't know about we can approve Trump's cabinet. You approved Biden's cabinet. Like, these people are clowns. Total clowns. You either support Trump's agenda or you get the fuck out. You support Trump's agenda or you are a clown and you're working for the opposition. They want open borders. It's clear as day right now. I don't know if Elon and them just became they were both saying the same things for different reasons, and this made them, whatever, come together, or whether there's some deeper alliance here. I don't think that it's a deeper alliance. I just think it's like a temporary convenience. So we'll see what happens with it. But like I said, not too concerned about Elon stuff, but now we know who Massey and Rand are. Pressure is on them because they will not admit that they view illegal immigration as a crime. They won't admit it. So let's go. Speaking of illegal immigration, let's get to the meat here. I don't know that we're going to have time for Ukraine. Maybe I'll be able to get something brief on it. Doesn't matter. Riots are important. We got to use these last 20 minutes to cover the riots. So this is what I said. Another way to look at these riots is capitulation. If Newsom thought he had a chance to win in 2028, he'd never be backing them. But he and the others know they're checkmated. They know what's coming for them. That's why I've always said talk about the next presidential elections and even the midterms is irrelevant. The political paradigm we lived under is over. They chose violence because they know it puts Trump in a position where he must respond with force. Their hope is that things will spiral, and with media optics, he will lose the public in the process. The only problem for them is Trump is restrained, and everything they do is so reprehensible to the public. It just gives Trump more authority to clean house. Trump will eventually do everything they have claimed he will do this past 10 years. He will deploy the military against them, but not until they have given him the mandate of the people to do it. And over here, we have a Q post. Yes, midterms are safe. Watch CA. Okay, so if you know the Q post stuff, obviously that the timestamps are not necessary, are not for those specific moments in time, that they are representing things later on. I know it means also that Q posts can be, mind read things. Is it real? Is it not? But it's starting to seem like, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought these posts were referencing around 2020, but it seems very apparent now that the lag is like it's like a 9-year lag or something like that. 8-year, like it's a we're in the moment now where a lot of these posts are referring to. So it's like we've been seeing all this stuff ahead of time. Um, so this stuff is it's a big question. Well, I gotta address this comment first. All due respect, I know you've been through a lot of pain, suffering, fighting for the cause, but Trump is not playing chess for MAGA. He's playing a different game now. All the signs were there before the election. Now we're seeing them come to fruition. He's just another member of the club. Look, man, I am very open to this possibility. I'm just saying that I see zero evidence of any of this stuff happening. I mean, everyone was talking about, same people were saying he's in bed with Israel. He's doing everything for Israel. And then he totally alienated Israel. He humiliates Netanyahu on the national stage. Israel's support is falling dramatically. Like, I don't see any of the people who say this. Like, I just don't see any pattern connection to it. It's not that I feel like personally invested so much that I can't think clearly. I just haven't seen an argument for it. I mean, it's very clear that they're trying to destroy his life and that he's in resistance. And you can see how they respond to him. How they respond to him. They respond to him like he is the worst thing in the world. They have done it from the very beginning. The hate and fear coming out of them is overwhelming. It's not like that toward people like Rand or people like Massey. It's not. But the Trump, you can see they have a legit derangement towards him. And he has been able to essentially take everything they do and turn. He's been able to reveal everything so that you can see that they are a complete inversion of everything that is good. To me, this is just, it's clear polarization. It's clear polarity. It's clarity. Trump is creating clarity. So I don't, everything before Trump was very clearly a divide and conquer once you woke up to it. But I keep looking for this. I keep trying to second guess myself. Let's see, is it possible? There's just no evidence of it, in my opinion. Every single time people have asserted it, you know, within a few weeks they have something contrary to it. The amount of work that needs to be done is really substantial, though. There's a lot of substantial work to go in here. I don't know if Bondi's cut out for it. I don't know if Cash is cut out for it. I don't know. Maybe they're not. My personal opinion is that they are. In that, I know this isn't popular. It's not popular with the J6 community. I've talked about it before on here. But we have to have some degree of patience, because patience is what destroys them. They are looking for aggressive reaction to them. They're looking for overreaction. Because if they can take overreaction, if you overreact, they can use that energy and redirect it against you. I know that personally from January 6th. It was not an unjustified reaction, but it was falling into their trap, because they wanted us to react the way that they which is why they provoked us, why they fired tear canisters at us, why they let us in the building, and then why they, while they were laying us in, while they'd instigated and let us in, then they flipped the whole thing. They turned it into, what you guys all know, used it against us. Used it not only against us personally, used it to create a whole narrative to scare other Americans into not standing up. Trump has been very good. Again, I'll make the connection. Just like Putin in Ukraine, Trump has been very good at not overreacting to provocations. Now, it's very frustrating to us because we want him just to go in, arrest them all. I can tell you with every fiber of my being, Trump is going to arrest them. There are going to be mass arrests. There are going to be troops deployed, military tribunals, the whole 9 yards. And I think this is going to be a process that takes a long time. It might take as long as 10 years for the entire thing to get cleaned up. I do not believe that the American republic. I'm not saying that we are. I think that the United States is going to be reconstituted. Maybe it'll have Canada reconstituted with it by the end of all this because all this stuff is linked up. But the bottom line, that's not really relevant for this conversation. But the bottom line is that because of the mass deportations and in some cases denaturalizations, because of the infiltration and capture with over half of Congress, the judiciary, state, local governments. I mean, there is going to be so much. He's putting down an insurrection in the country. I don't know that there's going to be suspended elections. I don't know how it's going to look. I can't tell you the details of it. But to the question I heard earlier here, do you think Trump continues to be our leader after his current term? Yeah, I do. And I think he's already seeded it. He's already said Trump 2028. He just says that as a joke. But I think it's going to be the case because, well, if you see that, I don't know how they're going to frame it, if they're going to have a constitutional amendment or if they're going to say that his prior term didn't apply because it was impacted by deep state fraud. I don't know what kind of argument is going to be used, but I do think Trump sees another term. But what we have in front of us is the beginning of this progression. Brian Cade said this very well. And here's another Q post here. Full circle. Why is Antifa allowed to operate? What happens if Soros-funded operations get violent and engage in domestic terrorism? What happens if mayors, police comms, chiefs do not enforce the law? Think recent events, you have more than you know, right? You've been watching for years a paid insurgency being allowed to operate by local state government traitors. What happens when control is taken away? Their paid insurgency is no longer allowed to operate. Newsom and Bass have had control taken away from them. Their paid insurgency is now in danger. There's no question this stuff is coming. You know it's coming. He's just waiting. This is a communist. The mayor of Los Angeles is a communist. Okay? This entire group, Obama, all of them, they're communists. They are enemies of the American people. It's not. The evidence is all there of this. I said this. I didn't include this post on the show, but I mean, they are domestic terrorists. The Democratic Party is a domestic terror group. They are being funded by transnational globalists. It is an attack on the country. These people are attacking the country. They are not the opposition party. They are third columnist, whatever the fuck column. Fifth columnist, right? It's going to happen. People are like, well, he can't do it. He's waiting because there's still people who are afraid for this to occur. But guess what? The left is not going to be able to help themselves. They are going to keep pushing the envelope. They tried it with the judicial stuff. They're not going to be done with the judicial tyranny, but they tried it with the judicial tyranny. They thought that if they could continue with this, that the judicial stuff would stop the deportations. It's not stopping the deportations. They're going to throw the kitchen sink. We've known for a while. If you guys have been watching the show, I've been talking for a very long time about the left going full on domestic terror and the issues in a number of cities in the country, but that we are not going to have civil war. It's not going to be civil war. Trump has a huge mandate. Trump's mandate when he was elected was like 64% of the public wanted mass deportations. He has a huge mandate. And I'm telling you, these optics only increase the mandate. The public is getting tired of the left's lack of good faith, obvious lack of good faith, and interest in destroying this country. It's becoming so obvious, so apparent, and Trump's restraint is serving him politically. I know we're impatient. I know we want to see it now. He doesn't have to pull the trigger now. He doesn't have to do it. Nino, I don't agree with everything in this post. I'm just showing it because, soon 14 cities will burn from riots and protests. Globalists made their fatal move Trump already has the military conduct full-scale mass deportations and mass arrest. Elon Trump drama calls the elites to make a premature and tragic move. I would love to hear this explained because I don't see any direct connection between the Elon Trump spat and this. I don't see any connection between it, but whatever. The military vehicles and equipment that were supposed to be shipped out of Washington Army Parade will be used for the cities under attack. Done under cover not to alarm citizens. This to me is like nonsense. Or not nonsense, but it's just like way overstated. And look at these cities here on the list. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see all of it, but okay, some of these, yeah, LA, obviously, Portland, Washington, Denver, but like Miami, I don't know. Like, why isn't San Francisco on here? And they have on this map like Virginia. Like, what does that mean? I mean, I'm not trying to be like flippant or. I just think we need to be more precise about this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, there's going to be civil unrest in the cities. Some cities will be worse than others. I don't think New York is going to be as bad as many of these other cities because they have a mayor in police department that's flipped sides, right? So New York is not going to be as bad as a lot of the other cities, which are in full-blown adversarial mode to Trump. Miami is also not going to have that because their mayor is not adversarial to Trump. It's only where there's local infiltration that you're going to have a really serious problem. So I'm saying all this stuff. The riots are the beginning of something, and it's going to accelerate. It's going to be very, very bad. It's going to get very rough in these cities. Okay? Expect it. I don't know that you should get super excited for something to happen in the next few weeks. We've been down this road before. We know there's been a million times where people have said, now it's time, mass arrests are happening, everybody's. Look, Trump post here. Once great American city, LA, has been invaded, occupied by illegal aliens and criminals. Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents to try to stop our deportation operations. But these lawless riots only strengthen our resolves. I'm with all these people in my cabinet in coordination with other departments and agencies to take all necessary action to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion, to put an end to these migrant riots. Order will be restored, illegals will be expelled, and Los Angeles will be set free. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then this guy is talking about, framing the LA as occupied territory, laying legal and psychological groundwork to invoke federal war powers, blah, blah, blah. Insurrection Act, domestic military ops under liberation banner. I agree with all this stuff. I agree with it. I'm just saying, don't expect things to, I think things will accelerate recently. I do. But we also need to be patient and not expect everything to happen overnight, because the whole thing here, the whole point of this, okay? The whole point of all of this is to have this play out in a manner that the public, how do I put this? That the public is going to be fully behind. And I want to say, when we talk about the plan, how does one reconcile theories of patriot control with kinetic events like the one we're seeing in California? Game theory. When you understand the enemy's playbook, you can provoke the reaction and map the counters. Patriots aren't telling us the future, they're creating it. I appreciate this post because it said more clearly something that I've said for a while, which is that we're in control of the board. You can know how somebody else is going to respond. Trump has been sieging the deep state. He knows he has time on his side because consciousness continues to grow in the direction of, getting these people out. So as long as you create certain barriers around them, the walls close in. So what that means is that they are going to start to lash out. Now, they want you to overstep, because if you overstep too soon, then it can create an opportunity for them. If Trump, even back in 2020, for instance, if he went and deployed the military then, he would have gotten a civil war. That things could have spiraled. He could have lost it. Even now, while he probably could be okay, is it going to have higher levels of casualty? Is it better, both for historical legacy, both for mandate, to wait until the LA rioters, till the Democrats jump the Shark Tank? Gavin Newsom is trying to play the martyr and wants to get arrested now because he's hoping he can get arrested on his own terms. If he gets arrested on his own terms, then he can become a martyr. Then people will rise up. But if Trump is restrained and lets him look like more and more of an incompetent clown, he's going to lose that martyr status because Trump is restrained. Once you guys understand that, we have to be patient. I think Trump could even have a year, depending on how they move. But his actions are going to be in response to their actions. And he's never going to go further than them. They are going to eventually get to a point where they really are jumping the Shark Tank. And that's when you're going to see Trump make the move. But when he makes that move for mass arrests, the public is going to be demanding it. You're going to see it from every corner. You're not going to see any of these Rand Paul, Massey people. You're not going to see any of this stuff. You're not even going to see a lot of Democrats want it. A lot of Democrats are going to want it too. People are going to be so done with the violence of the radical left, and the judges trying to stop Trump from doing things legally to deal with them. They are going to demand Article 2 powers being exercised against the deep state, against the left. We're going to see it, guys. It's coming. It's coming because they're going to do it to themselves. That's why they keep saying Trump's a fascist. He's a dictator. He's gonna go arrest all of his political opponents. They want him to do it, or they know their actions are gonna cause him to do it in the end. So the riots are the globalists' last-ditch effort to take back control because they have another strategy. Absolutely, and Soros is gonna run out of money before it really matters. Brazilification of America, whole new era. I think there's going to be a lot of deportations and denaturalizations as well. How much time do you think Trump truly has to act? Depending on what it is, I think he has. If the midterms are really going to be safe, he has a year, right? He has a year. So, all right, guys. Well, as I said, no Ukraine today. Not enough time. I got to jump on a client call. I will see you guys next time on COVID Cabal. Thank you for coming in. I think we got a lot more stuff heating up these next few days, so I'll see you soon.